Hey everybody, welcome back to Swish and Perry. I'm Perry.
Swish.
And we're back with some more Animal Crossing today.
Yeah.
Trying to get some more done. So we finally finished hello Dragonfly. We finally finished oh my god, this fish is being an asshole. We finally finished your house, so that was pretty cool. We got that all done. So that's awesome that we actually have a house for you now.
And a fish.
Yeah, he's the black bass. God damn it. Black bass. He's the most metal of all fish.
Right.
But let's see. So your house now here. It is. So it's small, but it's cool. It's actually awesome that it let you build it on the beach. I think that's really cool.
Yeah. Got some beachfront property. What's up?
Yeah, holy cow. That thing is big.
You jelly.
What is that? Hello.
Bro, can we talk about how busy work was last week?
Yeah,
it's not slowing down at all.
I forget when. I think there was like one day I texted you about something, and you were just like, yeah, wait until I get out of work.
We didn't do a Thursday video this last week.
Yeah.
Because I screwed something up, and then we had like one chance to re-record it or to record another one, and I passed out watching a movie that you recommended, which was really good, by the way.
Oh, okay. I was gonna ask if you did get to finish it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I passed out like at the end. Like I think I had like 10 minutes left. Like it was almost over.
Yeah.
The dude, it was because it's like it's narrated. Like the who is it? The guy is narrating his story like the entire time. Like
yeah, it's the Welsh guy
at the end,
or the Dutch guy.
At the end, the narrator changes to the Dutch guy. So he was narrating when I fell asleep.
Okay, yeah, because I think
I went back. It was like there was like 5 minutes left. But I passed out. I passed out watching that. So
nice.
It was good though. It was really really good.
Yeah. I enjoyed. Ooh, hey, we got a cool little thing there. I really enjoyed the movie. The ending was kind of cool. How they did that thing where it was like the, that guy pops up and the Dutch guy that starts talking at the end was like he was actually the one telling the story the whole time, but like you kind of got to see it through like the other people's eyes like the whole time. Yeah. I thought that was pretty neat.
You gotta watch another movie I watched recently, which was called The Gentleman. I've now watched it like 4 times.
I want to say I've heard about that movie.
It's a Guy Ritchie movie. I really like his movies.
Yeah.
But it's got Matthew McConaughey and just like a bunch of the guys that Guy Ritchie uses. It's really, really good.
So would you
highly recommend it?
Would you say that movie is all right?
I fucking hate you. No, work was like probably the busiest I've experienced in years. Because I used to work high volume, and our sales were high volume.
Yeah.
And my store is not a high volume store.
So you guys are doing like
we did just about double the sales that we normally do.
So do you even have like the stock to be able to do it?
I was running out of stuff. I don't have the staff. Staff more so, because like I mean when you're ordering stuff, you're generally ordering enough stuff to last you 7 days, and your truck every like 5 days. So you kind of have that like that safety net a little bit, but no, we were still running out.
Damn,
it was bad, like real bad. And I just pulled the numbers up from home and saw what we ended tonight with, and it's more than what last Monday started off at. So jeez. Yeah, like if that's an indication. Dude, it's so bad I had to close the store. Not close, but I had to stop taking orders at 7 o'clock on Friday.
Wow. Is it just because you ran out of stuff to actually be able to make anything?
No, I mean I couldn't service our customers at the point where it was okay. I mean, you're talking like 2.5 hour delivery.
Yeah.
And an hour to wait to pick it up.
Damn.
Yeah, like we just could not.
You just can't keep up with. Yeah.
It was bad.
So this is kind of a neat thing in this game. It doesn't happen super often, but every once in a while you can go into people's houses like this, and if they're building something, they'll give you the recipe for whatever they're building.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so here we just learned how to make an iron garden chair. That's kind of cool.
So you just go into people's houses, you just walk right in, and you're like, "Hey, motherfucker, what are you doing?
Give me shit.
Teach me how to do that."
Yeah. You walk in and you go, teach me how to Dougie. Oh, wait.
Oh.
Whoops. Hey, kitty. What you doing? Rah. Keanu's been like...
So,
Oh, no, not this guy.
Daffino and I earlier were recording some more gunfight videos because we haven't done that in a while. We played 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
The first one we won rather quickly and brutally.
Yeah.
We destroyed the team that we went up against. Bad.
Yeah.
The next game, we were actually getting our butts kicked a little bit, and then we came back on them, and it was like, 'cause you gotta go, like, whoever gets 6 rounds first wins, you know?
Right.
And they were like, they were always like 1 or 2 up from us. Well, they got to 3, and then we came back, got to 4, and they just quit.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It was freaking funny.
I can hear my cat in the other room. He's like freaking out. Hey, silly boy. I don't know why he's being so noisy today. What's the hot item? Rose wreath. Okay.
I'm a hot item.
Ooh. So, did you actually want to talk about the specifics of that movie?
Which,
Silence.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we can if you want to.
Alright. So I guess...
I don't know if we both feel the same way about it.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, it's probably, like, similar, but probably not exactly the same, no. So I guess, like, what was your takeaway from it when you had finished watching it?
The Japanese suck.
That was your takeaway?
I mean, it's kind of brutal what they did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't say necessarily that was my takeaway, but them killing people just because they're Christian or, you know, believe in God is I mean, it historically happens all the time.
Yeah. Well, I think
like everywhere.
People, yeah, I was gonna say, I think people are persecuted for religion in a lot of places, regardless of what the religion is.
Yeah.
That it's like, it's just one of those things that if you're going to a place that already kind of has an established religion or whatever, and then you're bringing something new, a lot of people are not gonna be fond of it.
Oh yeah.
And I think that was like, you know, that was definitely very well shown in that movie. Whoops. What you doing? But, whoop, move the gumball machine here. So now you got a gumball machine in your room, because why not?
Oh, I mean, that's like cool, you know?
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Look, you can turn it and it spins, and then you can see like the little lid flap out like a gumball hitting it. But I guess as far as like, I don't know. I kind of understood where the Japanese were coming from, though. You know, like the way that they kind of explained it in the movie was, so I guess for anyone who hasn't seen, Silence is a movie about some Jesuit priests from Portugal who go to Japan to kind of try to spread their religion and stuff, and they get a lot of people get killed and, you know, just prosecuted, and it's just a bad time.
Terrible time.
Yeah. Oh, can I not make a shovel yet?
For everybody.
Yeah. Well, let's see. That's important, I guess. We'll make that. So yeah. So, I kind of understood where the Japanese were coming from, though, because their big thing was that story that the guy tells of the, you know, it's the man who has the 4 wives, and how each one of them they all hate the other and they're all fighting with each other. Well, it's the Inquisitor guy, the Japanese guy, is telling the story.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But no, you're good. So he's kind of like, you know, they're talking about how you know, how he's like, you know, it's the man who lives in the castle, and he has the 4 wives, and you know, all the wives hate each other, so they're constantly fighting. So he makes all the wives leave, and then there's peace. And holy shit, what is that? I've never seen whatever that butterfly right there is. Gotta make a net.
Me either.
Who? Let's craft. I want to make a net. I can't make a net. I need tree branches. So he's like, you know, and then he asks, you know, the Andrew Garfield's character, I'm forgetting his name right now, but he asks him, you know, what he thinks the moral of that story would be, and you know, Andrew Garfield's character says, well, he was a very wise man, you know, to take away something that's, if there's something that's creating unrest in his castle, that he would remove it. And you know, then the Japanese guy says, he's like, yeah, and that's how we view the rest of the world right now. He's like, you know, we live in Japan and it's peaceful when it's just us, but now you have places like Spain, Portugal, you know, France, like all these places that are now coming to, you know, that are coming into our castle, into our land, and we need to make sure that we're, you know, protecting it and keeping the people that would make it suffer, keep them away.
Right.
So I think it's like there's definitely like a Madagascan sunset moth. Wow, that's pretty. That's a pretty cool looking thing. But yeah, so it's like it's kind of that idea of you know, it was something that was really foreign to them, so they didn't want it there, which I thought was kind of cool. Like it's not cool, but like it's just interesting how like how it all kind of unfolds, you know, that they're so scared of it that they're like not even going to give it a chance to grow. But I think also there's like some other, you know, like underlying things that are kind of being made there, because I think what a lot of people took away from it, at least from, you know, what I've heard, is like what a lot of people took away from it when they watched that movie is that basically the moral of the story is, you know, keep your faith to yourself. Like, it's fine if you believe it, but keep it to yourself and don't spread it with others, you know? And that's like, that definitely seems like it would be the, like, BA message that's being told there. But I think the biggest thing that I kind of took away from it was that, you know, at the very end of the movie, you know, you go through the whole thing, and then finally, you know, the priest, you know, he apostatizes, and then, you know, then he goes and he's living as a Japanese for the, you know, for the rest of his life until he dies. But then when he dies, you see that he was still buried with, you know, and then every year when they came back to him and they were asking him, he would always denounce his faith, you know, publicly or whatever. But privately, he was obviously still worshiping because, you know, or still believing his faith or whatever, because we see that at the very end, he's, you know, when he's in his little casket, he's still clutching like a little cross or whatever. So I think, like, at least for me, I think like the biggest thing that I kind of saw was that it took, you know, and then you see when he's like talking to Chichichiro again later, it's like he hears God's voice again while he's talking to him, like after all this had happened. So I think it was like at least like one of the points that I kind of thought that I thought was really interesting that seemed to come up was the idea that it actually takes the complete destruction of your faith for you believing that there isn't a God, for, you know, like, at least in his case, it took the complete deconstruction of his faith for him to have faith, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, which I thought was kind of cool. I thought that was a neat message, I guess, to kind of bring across.
I mean, it was a great movie.
Yeah, it was really, really well done. I mean, like, visually, everything, you know, obviously looked really good. The acting was fantastic. I think, like, the music was really, even though the music was very, like, very spread out and kind of subtle, I think, like, the music did a really good job of adding a lot of dramatic effect to everything that was going on. But I definitely think it raises an interesting, point, I feel like, just like in the church in general, because like one of the things that, you know, Liam Neeson's character is kind of telling, gosh, I keep forgetting the actual characters' names, but like, you know, one of the things that Liam Neeson's character is telling Andrew Garfield's character is, you know, it's not that they like, they don't believe in you they don't believe in God in that faith. They believe in your distortion and your version of it that you've told them. Is basically kind of what he's saying. He's like, he's like, they're not actually believing, like they're not actually following God, they're following you. Is kind of the point that he was trying to make. Which I thought was really interesting, because I think to some extent that's kind of what the church has become, that it's really no longer about, like your own personal faith. It's about like, what church do you go to? How big is it? How many people go there? How good is your pastor? Like that kind of thing. It's, it kind of defaces and takes away a lot of the value of what faith is actually supposed to be about, in our current day and age, which I think is really interesting. Which is funny because, you and I both grew up in a church.
In church.
Yeah.
A church, yeah.
Yeah, in a church kind of environment. And I feel like,
don't miss it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think to some extent, you and I have kind of not gone and have no desire to go for, a long time. And then your mom is a pastor too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that's how, so just out of curiosity, what was like growing up in a house like that?
I mean, she wasn't a pastor the entire time.
Oh, okay.
That happened towards the end, towards the end of my childhood. But she started pushing us to go to church a lot when I was in middle school, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And that became, I don't know, back then, I mean, whatever, I got to do it. I lived there under her roof and stuff like that. So, I mean, it was kind of like, okay, well, this is what I got to do.
Right.
But it didn't really bug me that much. It bugged me more. It became more of an issue when I kind of wanted to grow up, and when I grew up and wanted to do my own thing and, find stuff out for myself, and she's still shoving stuff down my throat.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It became more of an issue.
Yeah. And I think, and it sucks too, because I think, in most cases like that, when people, are doing something like that, like, I think it does come from a good place, that it's like, they've found what they believe is the truth, and they want you to know that truth as well, right?
Oh, dude, I can't have a 30-minute conversation with my mom without her telling me at some point that I'm going to hell.
Yeah.
And that gets annoying.
Right. I think that's the thing, is like, some people, just don't, like, I think a lot of people don't seem to understand or grasp that it's like, if somebody's gonna like believe that and follow that, like, they kind of need to come to that conclusion by themselves.
Oh yeah.
I think and I think that's the biggest thing. It's that whole idea of, you might be able to change somebody's mind, but you can never change their heart. Like, that needs to be a decision that they need to make on their own. And I think that's, the biggest thing with, like, anybody who has any opinion about anything, that you formed your opinion because of knowledge that you have. So then all of a sudden, if you're presented with new knowledge that maybe sheds new light on whatever your opinion is, your opinion might change. But it takes you finding that knowledge yourself first to then decide to make a change about it. And I think when a lot of people go into the whole, like, oh, let me share my faith with you, and they want to preach or whatever, it's like they're coming from a point of, like, how much better would I feel if I can, make this other person believe what I believe. Even if they don't believe the full picture, I just give them a version that seems like it's nice to them. And I think that, unfortunately, like, and we actually even see that in, like, the like, if you actually go back and historically see, like, when the Bible was written into, like, the New King James Version and stuff like that, or the King James Version, I should say, like, back in the 1600s. Oh, holy shit. Yeah. There were certain things that were left out, like, either completely left out or changed in the Bible when they wrote the King James Version, specifically if it was talking bad about like, I think it was, like, specifically if it was talking bad about, like, kings and, like, empires and stuff.
Yeah.
Because the guy who, like, kind of headed it up and had it translated didn't want himself to look bad. So, they changed things. And then there were, like, other rewrites too, where there were certain things, certain passages where they kind of talk about how in biblical times, people worshipped angels instead of God. They actually worshipped angels, and stuff like that was actually taken out of the Bible because around the same time there was some other religion that was starting to pop up that talked about angel worship. So they were like, oh, we can't have, you know, our religion saying that because then people are gonna start following that and whatever. So it's just funny how, like, sometimes, you know, the truth is distorted to kind of fit their own narrative.
It's kind of why I've never been that big of a fan of religion.
Yeah. I think faith is a really good thing. I think that, you know, I think that's...
Oh, yeah, you can have faith in something, but,
yeah.
I mean, there's... I don't know.
I think religion encourages...
Reading a book that, you know, yeah, maybe all those books in the Bible were written by somebody from that time at some point. They've been rewritten over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, and it eventually just kind of becomes a distortion of what the original was.
For a couple thousand years.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the Catholic Church has changed the Bible around to fit what they wanted.
Right.
It's just... Then you got other churches out there that have done the same thing, and
yeah, it's kind of sad to think about, like, and it's funny because, like, to some extent, it's actually just general human nature.
I actually had one. Oh, let me just throw this in there. I actually had a pastor when I was growing up. I think I was in high school. I had just finished watching, and don't ask me why I was, because I don't know. I was bored at home when I was in high school. But I just finished watching one of those, like, Bible book movies where it's like the Book of Matthew, but it's like it's a movie, but it's all word for word.
Right
From the Bible. Like, it's literally like
stuff that they used to do on, like, the History Channel or whatever.
Yeah. But, like, everybody talking and everything in it is like word for word.
Okay.
From the scripture or whatever. And the very next day we were at church, and this pastor took a verse. I don't remember exactly what the verse was or what it was. I just remember he rephrased it to fit what his sermon was about.
Yeah.
The scripture. And I remember it because it was a part of the movie and part of the thing that, like, really stood out to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked it. But in the middle of church service, I was like, hey man, you read that wrong. Like, that's not what that meant.
You're like, hey, wait, you that read wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And dude, he was mad, and he looked back at it and was like, "Oh, you're right." And I'm like, "Yeah, now it doesn't fit what you were talking about."
Yeah.
So I threw in that jab. Anyways, at the end of service, he pulled me to the back, and he was like, "I don't think that was, that was very disrespectful for what you did." And I was like, "You shouldn't, change stuff around just so it fits what you want it to mean." I was like, "That's not really how this works."
Yeah, like, and if anything, that's more disrespectful because now you're misleading an entire audience, you know.
Oh, I mean, I was really disrespectful at the end. So.
Well, yeah, but still.
No. I mean, like, when it was me and him one-on-one, I was even more of a dick.
Yeah.
So, anyways, he punches me in the face.
What a nice pastor.
Yeah.
Really showing you God's love there.
Pastor Ricardo. I don't give a shit if he ever hears this.
That's funny.
I mean, I was a dick. I was being a dick at the time.
Yeah.
Like, once we were, like, one-on-one, I was kind of an asshole to him because I didn't really like the guy. Never really. I always felt like he was fake.
Yeah.
And he kind of proved it there in one moment.
Yeah. It is really kind of sad how whoa. That's cool. What is that? It is really kind of sad though, like how you were saying that it's like some people will just like kind of skew things, even if that isn't what was actually said, they'll kind of skew it in their own way. Because I think like, and this is the thing that's hard again, it's, it's another just part of human nature that it's like if we have an opinion, right, or like a belief, anything that we see that seems to match up with it, even if it doesn't, we're gonna find a way to rationalize in our head that it does.
Yeah.
Which I think is really unfortunate.
Totally.
But I think like that's just, it's human nature. But I think like, to really and truly approach something like that, I think you need to approach it from like a very, like, oh wait, what? Can I not donate anything? Oh, okay.
No.
Damn it. But yeah, I think like, you kind of have to approach everything from like a very open-minded perspective, and then also be willing to like listen to what somebody else has to bring to the table, because I think, you know, you're never really going to get the full picture of anything if you're just using your own opinions and beliefs.
I've met a few pastors that I've liked over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's done. But only because they would listen to whatever side of the story you were telling them, and then that's what they would go with.
Yeah. Well, and I think I think there's something to be said about somebody who can, like, at least in that situation, who can stop and listen to what you have to say, and then say, okay, I understand why you would think that. However, here's this.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I fucking worded that wrong because I was also reading this thing that just popped up. Yeah, they would listen to what you had to say, and then they would, you know, either agree with you, disagree with you, or, you know, give another reason why.
Yeah.
You know, they would debate with you over it. They wouldn't just be like, no, this is good. And that's the way my mom is. My mom will just be like, nope, it's what the Bible says.
Yeah.
That's it. That's just the way it is. I'm like, that was written by some dude or at some church.
Well, and then it's
500
funny.
years ago, and they wanted to make money off everybody. And if you did anything wrong, they were gonna kill you.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny too, because like, so like one of the things that I find is really funny is the whole idea of, like, you know, the Gospels or whatever, you know, so you have like Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Those names were not even in like the original texts, or the closest to the original text that we've been able to find, which again were written in Greek, which wasn't even the language that Jesus spoke, because at the time Jesus was alive, he would have been speaking Aramaic. So again, it's like you're dealing with a translation of a translation, and we all know how well some, you know, languages translate to each other. So anyway, in these Greek versions of scripture or whatever that they found, there's which I think this is really funny. There are no names to the books. It's just the books. You know, that is another thing that is just like, it's stuff like that they just kind of add on later, and like, yeah, it does make it a lot easier to like flip through the book and find a certain part of it or whatever. But it's like, it's not, you know, I think unfortunately a lot of people assume that it's like, okay, the book of Mark was written by Mark. It's like, no, it wasn't. It was written by some Greek dude who had an oral testimony from somebody else of, you know, who maybe did witness his life and then wrote down his story, you know. But even then we can't be sure, because, you know, most, like, the oldest versions of the New Testament that we've been able to find are about 200 years older than, or like 200 years after when all of it would have actually happened, you know.
It doesn't make sense that there's dudes named Peter, Paul, and Matthew, and then you're gonna have a guy named Jesus that's like not even in the same name category.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing, is like, you know, a lot of those are just like English names that we've, you know, put on after just to make it easy. But yeah, I think it definitely lends itself to a lot of, because I think,
there was not a guy named Matthew walking around Egypt.
Yeah,
around that area,
or out in the Middle East
at that time.
Yeah,
there was not a fucking Matthew walk around the Middle East.
Yeah,
because if there was, you would not have lived long enough.
Yeah.
You're like, what are you doing here? We're gonna take your head. It does not belong to you anymore. It's ours. It's our head.
Oh man. All right, so we've actually gotten a lot of money, which is good. So I'm gonna sell this little last bit here, and then we probably should call it a video. I think this is like a cool conversation, though. I'd like to continue going with this, but the video would be forever long.
I mean, yeah.
But
and honestly, I'd have to pay way more attention.
Yeah.
I was kind of zoning out there a couple times because I have the video rendering, and I was just checking on that.
Yeah.
Oh.
So this last little bit.
But I'll be uploading a new video on my channel tomorrow.
Yay!
Probably tonight. I don't know.
That was the gunfight one.
Yeah. We haven't done that in a while.
Yeah.
It's been a hot minute.
Cool. Yeah, I know that you guys seem like definitely seem to have a lot of fun whenever you guys get to do that. So.
Yeah, I think we're gonna switch it up and do some Warzone, some Battle Royale Warzone.
Noise.
You should totally get the game and join us.
Yes, I love Call of Duty games and battle royales. Those are two of my favorite
Bro,
things.
I don't even like Call of Duty that much. But I enjoy this one. This one's fun.
Yeah.
The first Call of Duty I've had since Call of Duty 3 back when it way back in the day on 360.
Yeah.
Where, that I actually like.
I liked Modern Warfare 2.
If you like that, you'll like this one.
Mm.
I promise you. If you actually liked that one, I think you'll really enjoy this one.
Yeah. But well, cool. Well, thanks everybody for watching. We appreciate you guys hanging out.
Yeah.
Listening to our random rants.
That wasn't that random.
No. But we will see you guys in the next one.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Whoops.